Good day, everyone. Always a pleasure to be with you. And this weekend, more so, as we celebrate the feast of the Ascension. A reading, our readings this weekend are taken from several sources. First of all, the first reading from the book of Acts that recalls Jesus's ascension into heaven, surrounded by his three innermost disciples, and it speaks of his leaving them behind and their normal human reaction, feeling neglected, feeling lost, feeling alone. But Jesus promising them that he would leave them an advocate, he would leave them a guide, and we spoke about that last week. The second reading taken from Ephesians that assures us that all things on earth are under God's power, that we have nothing to fear, that all dominions, all things, whether spiritual or non-spiritual, are in God's hands, that history is in God's hands, that things are leading up to a certain culmination, so have nothing to fear, even though things might seem very dim. God is in charge. And of course our gospel reading today that gives a sense of purpose and direction to the disciples. In fact, the reading says, "Go therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all that I have commanded you." And then it says at the end here, "And behold, I am with you always until the end of the age." The Ascension this weekend is celebrated as a two-part movement. Jesus ascends to heaven and the church goes forth to spread the good news. So there's a vertical and a horizontal movement. One goes up and the other goes out. And the specific task entrusted to the church is to be a witness. A witness is someone who testifies. They experience something and they relate what they have experienced. For instance, you witnessed an accident on the road and you are called to give an account of what you have seen. Your testimony is important because you were there on spot. This is why the writers of the New Testament are so important. They were there on spot. They witnessed what took place. They can give us a first-hand account. And this is why we hold in such high regard the first Christians and the early church, because they got the story firsthand. Many of our Catholic traditions, the structure of the Mass, the structure of the church, some of our prayers date from this period. Even some of our sacramental practices as well, baptism, communion, the gift of the Holy Spirit, confession. And let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. People often ask, why does the church baptize infants? Well, the answer is very simple. Because that was the practice in the early church. If you read Acts 16, verses 33 to 34, it's the story of a man and his entire household being baptized. Man, woman, and child. Baptism was never the preserve of adults alone. This witness and this connection with the past is important to understand in terms of our Catholic identity and in terms of of what we give witness to. But in a more fundamental way, we give witness to the love and power of God in our lives. This is what it is really all about. All the prayers, the baptisms, the celebrations are testimony to our identity as children of God and his enduring love in our lives. And we do this in the midst of other competing voices. There are always voices out there competing for our attention. So we have to be focused on what our task is. Our task is to give testimony and to witness to the power and love of God in our own personal lives. That is what we are called to share with others. So the question that concerns us is this: what is the quality of your witness? What is the quality of the witness that you are giving out, so to speak, in your life at this very moment? Is the quality good? Is the picture fuzzy? Are there ambiguities? Are there contradictions in your life? So people look at you sometimes and they see God, and they look at you sometimes and they don't see God. There is the story of a man who attended church religiously every Sunday, dressed up very nicely, carrying his Bible to church. But when he returns home, he beats his wife. So there is an ambiguity there. There is a contradiction there. And we sometimes have contradictions in our lives in terms of our witness. Your witness is far more powerful when you can get rid of these contradictions, when God is present in every aspect of your life. We can't be sort of vai going in two directions at the same time. Saint Teresa of Avila has a beautiful poem entitled "Christ Has No Body But Yours," and it goes like this: He has no hands, no feet on earth but yours. Yours are the eyes with which he looks compassion on the world. Yours are the feet with which he walks to do good. Yours are the hands with which he blesses all the world. Yours are the eyes. You are the body. Christ has no body now but yours. No hands, no feet on earth but yours. And this gives such beautiful testimony in terms of our witness. As Jesus ascends to his Father, he leaves us as his witnesses here on earth, as his hands, as his eyes, as his feet. We carry Christ with us. We mirror Christ with us in our lives. And in bringing Christ to others, we bring them to God. We become his body and his enduring presence and love here on earth. That is what the ascension is all about. Christ leaves, and he leaves us here on earth to be a witness to him. Want to wish you all a happy ascension and God's abundant blessings as we witness to him here on earth. See you next week.